all things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
My name is Ashby Beasley. I'm from Highland Park, Illinois. I was actually in town just on vacation, but I'm a mass shooting survivor. My son and I survived a mass shooting in Highland Park where there was a shooting at a parade that we were at. We ran for our lives. And this is just unacceptable. It's only in America can somebody survive a mass shooting and then go on vacation to visit another person that they have met through, fighting for gun safety, and find themselves at involved near another mass shooting. Like only, you know what I mean? Like only in America does this happen, where we keep seeing this again and again and again. Only in America does her son survive a mass shooting and then, end up in a lockdown school because there is another mass shooting. This is an epidemic. Gun violence is an epidemic, and it needs to be resolved. It needs to be addressed.
When you hear about it happening at a school again, what goes through your head?
For me, the statistics start running. It's likely this gun was purchased legally. It's likely it was not stored properly, and a child took it. I heard that it might have been a child, a sixth grader.
No.
Just how preventable this is, how preventable these incidences are, how we should pass gun safety legislation and lock up weapons and, put require background checks on every single gun purchase, ban assault weapons.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Just thoughts and prayers will happen. That's it. So everybody, let's think. Okay. And then if you're so inclined, you can pray. If not, let's move on. Because that's it. The shooter's dead, and everybody will move on to the next one. And the next one will be 130, number 130. And it's only March. It's only March, and that number is just for this year. 129 mass shootings just this year. And everybody's going to move on because, the 28-year-old woman, the only thing that's different is she's a girl, right? And normally our shooters are boys, but this one was a girl, so we'll find out, nothing. That's it. We'll find out nothing because she's dead. And nobody remembers any of the motivations of any of the shooters once they're dead. Okay, that's it. You just move on to the next one. Just go, straight forward. Just go to the next one. And Florida's going to be, wild. Florida, come here, everybody. We'll be wild. We'll be wild because we're just about to give 76,000 people who couldn't get a permit. They don't even need one anymore. We're just about to say, go have a gun. Just go. Enjoy. Have fun. And if the kids, end up dead, it's the price of freedom.
What they're getting ready to do is pass what they are calling permitless carry. I call it untrained and dangerous carry because that's what it is. They failed at their initial announcement when they tried to call it constitutional carry. There really is no such thing. It's a made-up marketing term. So they moved on to calling it permitless, but it is dangerous in every measure. And if you go back to the initial press conference where they brought in a few sheriffs to talk about it, one of them was asked, how will you know if somebody with a gun has a permit, is or isn't a dangerous person? Because we all know dangerous people are now going to run out and buy guns.
Right.
He said, we'll know after they commit a crime with the gun. That was his answer. So it's a dangerous, dangerous endeavor to just start saying we're no longer going to check and we're no longer going to require training. But as a slap in the face to families like mine, they've gone further because if you're caught on a school campus as part of this legislation now with a gun, the penalty used to be a felony. They're reducing it to a misdemeanor. For whatever reason, that's what they're going to do as part of this legislation. So if you're a student who wants to commit a crime on a campus with a gun, you now may go out and test it before you do anything because the penalty won't be significant.
You want to talk about a place that needs this law? Not at all. Between Parkland, the shootings in Miami, the shooting
you know
at
who
the
that
Fort
was? That's
Lauderdale
Fred
Airport.
Gutenberg. That right there is Fred Gutenberg, whose daughter Jamie was killed at Parkland. That's who that is. sitting there trying to explain how ridiculous this all is, and how not only don't you need a permit anymore, and we do know that there have been, tens of thousands of people that didn't qualify to get a gun in Florida will now be able to get a gun in Florida, but also for some strange reason, probably as a slap in the face of parents like Fred Gutenberg, who is very vocal about an assault weapons ban, who's very vocal about background checks, who's very vocal about, he was so vocal about raising the age, so was David Hogg and the kids, at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, that we actually were able in Florida to raise the age to buy an assault weapon from 18 to 21. And now they want to turn it back to 18. But in this particular piece of legislation, they said having a gun on school grounds, which is today, at this minute, before DeSantis signs this new piece of legislation, it is a felony. But when this piece of legislation, this permitless carry dung, gets signed by DeSantis, it's already passed both houses, but when it gets signed by DeSantis, carrying a gun on school property is now a mere misdemeanor. Now, you look at the news that we had to open with today, and I don't know why we still have to open with mass shootings at schools when they're just going to keep on rolling and happening and going. And, this one got 6 people. The next one will get, 17 people. The next one will only get 2. Won't qualify as a mass shooting because you need 4. Do you know what I mean? And nothing will change. It'll just get more frequent. It will just become more deadly. It will just become less prosecutable to kill somebody. I mean, you combine the stand your ground crap in Florida with the misdemeanor crap that is going to be to bring a gun into school. And, some kid who says he's being bullied in school says, I was going to school with a gun to stand my ground. And bam, your beautiful little innocent kid is, a casualty of a gun war. And, what can you do? Nothing, because the kid was standing his ground. I don't know. How in the world could, and they're still talking about open carry in this state. They're still talking about that. Now, what's crazy about open carry, and Fred Gutenberg's going to tell you the same thing that I've been telling you, and that is this. So now what you're going to have to do is decide who with the open carry, who with the slung, the AR slung over their shoulder is a good person with an AR slung over their shoulder, and who is a bad person with an AR slung over their shoulder. And, you're going to have to decide. You're just going to have to decide. And you're going to have to decide in the grocery store. You're going to have to decide at the gas station. You're going to have to decide at the schoolhouse. You're going to have to decide on the sidewalk. You're going to have to decide when you're walking your dog. You're going to have to decide when you're golfing. You're going to have to decide when you're, just running errands, going to the dry cleaner, picking up. You're going to have to decide when you go through the drive-thru at Wendy's. Who's the good guy with the gun and who's the bad guy with the gun? Because we don't have any rules anymore about who can have a gun, and everyone's going to have one who shouldn't have one, and very few people are going to have one because they feel like they need one. What a mess. These people are a freaking mess. This is not safe or decent. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.